Hey everyone, Ben here, and strap yourselves in for 18 laps of the most intense online racing I have ever had. Non-stop battles, big shunts, great overtakes, and a fantastic fight to the finish line. This is a top split race and I'm starting in 10th position out of 26 cars, and the focus is all on surviving lap 1 and then building on the genuine pace I've got to start making up more positions. This is such a high speed and intense combination. We're waiting on the lights to get underway then. 4 red lights on and we are green, and it's going to be a race down to T1 then. Everybody up ahead peeling to the inside line to try and cover off anybody looking to stick their nose down in there. Here we go then, we're going to be on the outside line. I'm going to give plenty of space on the inside. Hopefully nobody runs wide. We get through alright, but then we get up on the curbing. That's going to slow me down as we climb the hill for the first time. And as you'd expect, this race is going to be all about the slipstream effect down this enormous back straight. There is no chicane in this layout. It is just flat out all the way up the hill and then all the way down this long straight. You can see we're in the slipstream of Bobby Moss. We're going to peel to the outside. Bobby, a friend of the channel, as we go side by side through the long right-hander. Cold tyres making this a big challenge on lap 1. You can see there, I got all kinds of understeer. I've got pressure from Juan Regana behind. We're able to hold him off as he looked to make a move down the inside. So I've almost certainly lost a position or two on this opening lap, as we're now on the uphill hairpin and getting ready for the second half of the lap here. Just tucking into the slipstream. Look in the rear view mirror though, Regana is looking to make a move. I'm going to cover him off to the inside. He's going to go even more to the inside. Nice move down my inside. Not much I could do there to defend other than really squeezing him out onto the grass. So we've lost another position. But as I said at the very beginning of the video, this is a long race. I'm really just looking to survive this opening lap and then build from here. So it's not the end of the world if I've lost a couple of positions. The most important thing is I don't lose touch with cars up ahead of me. This is all about momentum. There's not many braking zones, not many places to make up lots of time. If you fall out of the slipstream of the cars up ahead, it's going to cost you so much time from lap to lap that you can easily become disconnected. So, on to lap 2, and you can see the 2 drivers up ahead, Regana and Moss, battling side by side up the hill. This is going to be costing them both loads of time. That's going to give me the chance to get those positions back. I'm alongside Moss on my inside here. I might have the momentum to get Regana as well. We're down in 13th as we cross the finish line. This would get us back up into 11th position here. Bumpy as we head into the right-hander. We're side by side. I've got to make sure that I don't drift out wide and into Regana's path there. We're still side by side. He will have the inside line into the left-hander. That pushes me out wide. This is not the faster line through the corner, and in the end I couldn't get that pass done. Let's take a look then on the replay. This is Regana's pass on the opening lap. A brilliant move there. He just had more momentum going into the corner, and in the end he gets that position as his own. But then on the very next lap he's side by side with Bobby Moss. I'm able to just get into their slipstream as they're slowing each other down up the hill. That gives me more momentum onto the very fast back straight. I'm able to get the move done on Moss, and then we're side by side with Regana, and it's going to be the first time testing out what it's like to go 2 cars wide at full race speed through this right-hander. And it's all about respect at this point. You have to give each other room. If you squeeze each other out, it's a huge accident just waiting to happen. We're able to do that, but unfortunately in doing so I couldn't make the move stick. We rejoin the live action then on lap 4, and I'm just about holding on to the rear wing of Regana. Less than a second separates us, and then I've built out a gap of over a second to Moss behind. But look up ahead, there's a puff of smoke and there's a red car off there, and he's going to rejoin. Unbelievable. We were so close to being taken out. I had to take avoiding action. He's rejoined, and I've lost all sorts of time and 1 position to Moss up ahead. So that gap that I built out to the cars behind, that That's gone, and I've lost total touch with Regagna up ahead. This could be disastrous to my race fortunes and a chance of getting into the top 10. Another car off to the left-hand side. That's Abramovich in the barrier, so we've made one position back. But look at this, I had to take more avoiding action there, and I'm getting put under pressure from the car behind, and he's going to be around my outside. This could all unravel very badly from here as we lose another position into T1. And look in the rear view mirror, there's another car piling on the pressure as we climb the hill. I've got to keep my composure here. It would be the easiest thing in the world for me to lose my head here, start defending overly aggressively, but I'm not sure there's anything I can do given how fast the closing speeds are behind me. I'm in the slipstream of the car up ahead, but I'm now forced onto the inside line as we're side by side with the driver behind. I'm going to have to keep the car nice and tight to the apex. We're so close to making contact there, but we managed to avoid it. He's down my inside here, and look at that, very opportunistic from Ken Nielsen behind as well. He's going to be down my inside too. I have lost so many positions in just one lap of racing. Once you get offline, once you've lost your momentum in this combination, it is just so easy to fall back through the pack, and that's exactly what's happened here. I've no idea what position I'm in. It could be 15th or 16th at this rate, but again, look in the rearview mirror. Muley makes a huge dive down the inside. There's contact between Lee and Nielsen. Unbelievably, they both keep going. Again, we had to get out of the accelerator. I'm trying to defend from Simmons around my outside, but we've lost another position. Unbelievable. Let's take a look back at it then. This is how it all began, with the Ferrari livery driver coming back onto the track in just the most ridiculous fashion. That caused me then to have to take huge avoiding action, cost me all of my pace momentum, all of that gap that I'd built up to the cars behind. This is Abramovich's accident, high speed. Oh my goodness, what a shunt into the wall that is. That gave us one position back, but as this next replay shows, we were just getting swamped from all angles from this point on, and the more you try and defend, the worse it gets in a way. But you can't be switching your lines through these corners. As soon as somebody's got an overlap on you, you're pretty well stuck offline, and you take pain all the way down the straights and through the corners. This is the dive bomb from Lee then, and we're going to see more of Lee in the race as we get going. But we're rejoining the live action on lap 6, and there is more pain to come. We've dropped from 10th down to 17th, and look in the rear view mirror, another friend of the channel, Rachel Jimenez, is looming large in the rear view mirror here. She's going to have an overlap on me down the outside, so again I'm pinched onto the non-ideal inside line. This is going to cost me through the next corner. We've also got pressure from Bertrand behind as well. Jimenez all the way past me here, 3 cars up ahead, jostling for position 2. This is so intense. One wrong move and it's a race-ending crash, at least for you, possibly for other drivers as well, but for the time being we're staying safe. Nielsen is out onto the grass. He's going to rejoin again. Oh, and we just squeeze past him there without getting put onto the grass ourselves. So this is really living on our nerves here, trying not to lose any more positions. We have to try and settle down, reset, regain my composure here. We're still in the first third of this race. Oh, and look at that. Jimenez off to the left-hand side. So that'll be one position back. She just got her braking wrong there into the right-hander. And so hopefully now we can start looking at the drivers up ahead. We're on to lap 7, and I'm just not close enough to Simmons up ahead, and Nielsen behind is within 0.3 seconds. So once again then, I'm trying to follow the slipstream of the guys up ahead, but I'm going to be forced into a defensive posture as Nielsen has the overspeed. He's going to be around my outside here. The 2 drivers up ahead going side by side too. I'm sticking to the inside to avoid any contact whatsoever, but that's going to give Nielsen the high ground heading into the left-hander. I'm going to have to concede the position, try and get a switchback with the better exit here. We just clip the curb. I'm not able to do it. On to lap 8 then. We're still trailing Nielsen, but I'm going to have the benefit of the slipstream this time around. We're going to be tucked very nicely underneath his rear wing. It's going to all be about, can I maximise the benefit of that and then switch to the inside line as he looks like he's going to park himself on the racing line. Here we go then, I've got massive overspeed heading into the corner here. Can I hold it through the right-hander? It looks like we've been able to do it as he falls all the way back, but look at that, he's coming back at me again. I get the call from my spotter that he's got a tyre alongside. That's going to give him the inside line. We try and hold it as tight as I can without causing any incident, and unfortunately I haven't been able to make it stick. We're going to try again though as we come through the right-hander. He is slightly loose on exit. Look at that, you can see, struggling with understeer. That's going to give me a better exit, and maybe I've got a chance into the braking zone. At the end of this straight, we peel to the inside. I'm going to try and give it a go. We're down the inside. Oh, but he's not keen on giving me much room at all there. Somehow we avoid contact. That must have been close. I'm going to feint to the inside once again. Try and put him off his racing line. You can see he's struggling at this point, Nielsen. Under the pressure, I've got to try and get this move done. All the while we're stuck in 17th position. I'm just losing touch with drivers up ahead. We're going to come down on this. Oh, he's made a huge mistake heading into the final corner. I did not see that coming at all. I had to get on the brakes. That was unbelievably close to a race-ending incident there. I don't think it was a brake check. I think he just got it wrong, and I very nearly drove straight into his rear end. We're on to lap 9, and I am still trying to pile the pressure on here. I've caught Nielsen at an awkward spot climbing up the hill. I've got to manage to just keep it to the inside. We're both losing time to Jimenez and Bertrand behind. They're now closing in. This is going to be 4 wide heading down the back straight, and we look like we might be the big losers once again. We're on the racing line at least. I've got Bertrand alongside me on the inside here. I'm going to try and hang it around the outside. Jimenez has made up all sorts of places through that corner, as she's now right up into the lead of this 4-car pack. I've got Bertrand around my outside. I'm able to hold at least one of those positions, but this is just so tough. I've got to find a way past Nielsen, past Jimenez, and just get out of this chain of slipstream effects here. Look at that, we've got a much better exit through the right-hander. I'm surely going to be all the way alongside Nielsen here, heading into the right-hander. I'm a little bit nervous as to whether he's going to give me space, and in the end I was perhaps just a bit too tentative through the corner there. He held it around the outside. I'm going to have to start getting a little bit braver, but I'm just so conscious that this is a very high-speed circuit, and just even a little bit of contact in these Formula 3 cars can be a race-ending incident, and I want to get to the end of this race without damage. We're going across the start-finish line once again, then we'll be on to lap 10, so we're still just around the halfway point here. I'm going to shape to the inside. Maybe this is my moment to get down the inside of Nielsen. We make it stick into T1, but of course this is not an ideal time to make the pass, because what I've done is give him the slipstream for the back straight here. You can see up ahead Jimenez is challenging lead. There's a yellow flag, so somebody's had an incident. Looks like they've returned to the pit lane just in time, but look, just as I was saying, Nielsen already is alongside me. The benefit of the slipstream up the hill, but look at that, he's come out of the slipstream early, and that has killed his pace. Bertrand is looking to make a move too. Is he going to be able to stick it down the inside? He's not. I'm able to hold the position this time around, and in fact it looks as if Nielsen is under pressure himself from the driver behind. This is crucial then as Jimenez locks up through the left-hander up ahead. Am I able to consolidate this position? Well, we're on to lap 11, and that's exactly what I was able to do, and instead turn my attention to pressuring Jimenez and getting past her and up into 15th place. So we're still fighting really for the lower midfield positions here. I had great hopes of a top 10, but that incident with the rejoiner early in the race has really put paid to any hopes that I'd had of that, as we shape to the inside, trying to put pressure on Rachel up ahead. She held it nicely on the wider line. I'm going to have to try and think about where my best opportunity to get past here is. We're into the right-hander. I'm going to try and maximise my exit, get into a slipstream once again, and see if I can't make a move down the inside into what is probably the hardest braking zone in the lap. Here we go then, down the inside. I'm going to try and be brave, and oh, look at that, just hold the car on the apex, and that is enough to get the move done. Great racing here. I was able to shape to the inside, get my car alongside, and just hold on to it through the apex, and that was enough to get the move done. On to lap 12 then, and I've begun to reel in Lee up ahead, who of course does not have the benefit of a slipstream, and I'm able for the first time really in this race to have put some consistent laps together and show more of what was my genuine underlying speed in this top split race. So I've made short work of getting into Lee's slipstream up ahead. The challenge now is going to be, can I get past safely? Because it looks as if Lee is in no mood to surrender any positions in this race, and he's struggling just a little bit with his car. He's weaving just a little bit through some of these corners. You can see he's having to correct some oversteer on exit. So now I'm onto his rear wing. The challenge is going to be just picking my moment, and you can see the car there washing out. I don't know, to be honest, if dirty air is simulated in iRacing. Someone can let me know that in the comments, or whether I just was taking that corner too fast. But wow, I struggled with some understeer and had to correct that as I very nearly hit the wall. But look up ahead, somebody else struggling with understeer was Lee through that corner. This is going to give me a big chance climbing the hill. He's shaped to the inside. I'm going to have to come to the outside here, get a little bit more of that slipstream as I then pull out into the inside of the back straight. Can I power on past here? This is going to be a big challenge to just hold it down the inside. You can see in my rear view mirror, cars behind closing in once again. Here we go then through the right-hander, and yes, I've got that move done. Lee is going to try and get it round the outside, but there's no room, and in fact, very nearly ends up in the barrier there, but manages to hold onto it. We're through then the next left-hander, and maybe, just maybe then, I can now think about making up some more time to the drivers up ahead as we snake through the right-hander. And look at that! Speaking of the drivers up ahead, two of them off to the left-hand side there, a big accident. Here's the replay then, and we're following Bobby Moss, and unfortunately he's going to get collected in Simmons's mistake, and that is going to wreck both of their races. On to lap 14 then, and unfortunately I've not been able to build enough of a gap to break the toe to Lee. He's now fighting back. He's going to be around my outside again. I'm stuck on the inside line here. He's going to be side by side on corner exit. That's going to give him the advantage into the next corner. He's just able to hold the front wheel alongside me. I've got to give him space, and he's back through and up into that position that we only took from him one lap earlier. Oh, and look at that, he moves across in the braking zone. Not a big move, but that is giving me a little bit of nervousness about what it's going to be like to drive alongside this guy. Look at that now, we've got a better exit onto the back straight. I'm going to peel to the inside, try and get alongside him into the right-hander here. We look like we're just about side by side, but he holds it around the outside, and in fact actually uses a bit of the runoff area to just hold that position. He's got the inside line for the left-hander. I'm not able to get that position straight back. We're on to lap 15 then. We're getting into the closing stages of this race, and once again it's going to be all about the slipstream on the back straight here. We peel to the inside, maybe just a touch too early this time, but we're going to be side by side all the way down the back straight once again. Got to be thinking about cars in the rear view mirror as well, because they're getting a double slipstream down this back straight. We're on the inside then, hugged to the apex. He's on my outside still, and it looks like he's ran it out too wide, so that is the position back to me then for another lap. But on to lap 16, and once again I haven't been able to break the toe. This is just punch and counter punch as we get towards the end of this race. Here he comes then in my rear view mirror once again. I know what to expect. I'm coming to the inside to try and force him around the outside once again. Here he comes, here he comes. He's going to be close enough to get alongside before we get to the right-hander. We're going to try and just float the car through here, not run it out wide, and once again it looks like he's side by side. In fact, he's going to have the high ground into the left-hander. I've got to concede the position once more, and this again is just a battle that is going to run all the way through to the end of the race by the looks of it. We're on to lap 17, the second last lap of the race. Bertrand is watching as well behind. I may yet come under pressure from them as we're stuck behind Lee coming up onto the back straight here into the slipstream. Look at that, Bertrand is going to come to the inside here. That might box me in, but thankfully I'm just able to use my overspeed sitting behind Lee to get to the inside line. Here we go then, big chance to make this position stick. We're on to the curbing on the inside. Lee is still around my outside here. We've got to hold our line. He's going to have the inside line. Oh, but there's contact, and he's off to the right-hand side. And Bertrand is going to get down my inside by the looks of it, because we had to get out of it there slightly. I'm not sure what happened to force Lee into the barrier there. I've got to try and get this position straight back from Bertrand, and we're able to do it through the right-hander, but that was contact. We've got a 4X. Let's see what happened there. Oh, and look at that. I think Lee just came across onto my line, really. I didn't squeeze to the inside there, and that was exactly what I've been hoping to avoid all race long. We're on to the final lap of the race then, lap 18. We're in 12th position. This is pretty cool as far as recovery drives go, given how desperate was looking earlier on in the race. But Bertrand has got the slipstream on me for this final lap, this final time down the back straight. He's on the outside of the corner. We're going to be side by side. We know how this tends to play out through the course of this race. Will they be able to pin it around the outside and hold the inside line for the next corner? We're safely through side by side. I know I've got to give space on the inside. We've seen just on the very last lap what happens if drivers don't, and we've lost the position. We're down to 13th. I've only got a handful of corners to try and get this position back. We're side by side through the right-hander here. This is going to be a race to the very finish here. I've got a much better exit. I'm going to try and get to the inside. Bertrand has covered that off. I'm going to have to try and get around the outside of this right-hander here. We're side by side into the braking zone. I've got to give him space on the inside. We're right out onto the curbing on the outside of the track, and it looks like we've been able to make it stick. I've got to block the apex off on the left-hander here. Only 2 corners to go, and neither are really corners. You can keep the car pretty well flat through this left-hander, and then it's just a slight lift into the very last corner of the race. So it looks like we've been able to secure 12th position. What a battle and what a race. My goodness me, I need a lie down after this one. Truly a terrifying combination. The F3 here at Watkins Glen, it's so high speed. This must be what it feels like to be stuck in a DRS train in Formula 1. And in the end, I think I've got to be happy with this result. This was a top split grid, remember, and yes, I had more pace, I think, than I was able to show for the majority of this race. We got a little bit unlucky, but we kept our nose clean. I don't think I was at fault for that collision with Lee, but let me know what you think in the comments. And in the end, 12th place finish, a decent haul of championship points. And if you've enjoyed this video, please do remember to leave a like. It'll help more people find it on YouTube, and you might also enjoy the video that's on screen now.